the rules are very simple. If you can't maintain balance in life, sooner or later, this will create some kind of side effects, and very likely it will impact the whole structure. Okay, this is Mike Sigula from TruthTheory.com and welcome to another video. So, a couple of weeks ago I created this video titled What 20 Years of Personal Development Has Taught Me, where I shared with you some of the most interesting and valuable lessons and ideas and tips that I've learned that can improve our lives from 20 years more or less of studying and practicing personal development, and also just exploring life. And I thought this video got decent views. Let's do part 2. So today is part 2, and the first thing I want to talk about is balance, life balance, work-life balance, family balance. So if you look at our society, our civilization, basically everything is out of balance. You look at Western countries like US, and people die of obesity or illnesses linked to obesity. You look at some regions in Africa, still you have people dying from hunger or malnutrition. So this is just an example, but once you start looking at society, our lives, everything is out of balance here on every level. And this is not a good thing, if you can imagine, because every time we go out of balance, we create some kind of repercussions and side effects to it. And I think that the rules are very simple. If you can't maintain balance in life, sooner or later, this will create some kind of side effects, and very likely it will impact the whole structure. So what do I mean by that? So when I talk about structure in life and balance, I mean something like this. So let's say you have your career, which is like your job, maybe your business, maybe, I don't know, if you're a student, that will be currently your university or degree. So this is one area, right? Career, job, work, business, right? Then we have health. Health is obviously extremely important, and this has to do with physical and mental health, right? Then we have relationships. So let's say if you are married, or you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, you have family, kids, then you have this as a third area, right? Your romantic relationship, your family. And this is just a very broad structure, you can divide it in more ways as well, but I'm just kind of generalizing here. So the fourth would be hobbies, well-being, maybe relationships with friends, etc. So let's say that many people, or most people, would have these 4 areas as the big important things in their lives, right? Of course, you can say there are more, not everyone is the same, blah, 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 but we are just generalizing, bringing some kind of general case here. So what often happens in society is that people get out of balance, and they, for example, put way too much effort into one of these areas, and obviously other areas will suffer as a result. So, for example, very often we see people who, focus a lot on career, money, business, job, etc. And very often what comes as a side effect is that they neglect relationships, their loved ones, their health deteriorates, right? And whenever this happens, whenever we put way too much attention in one area, like jobs or work or business, this is often like the typical scenario, the other areas obviously start lacking. You start putting way less effort into other ones. Very often when we get into work mode, we put way too much attention on work, on job, we get stressed, right? We now look for comfort. People often try to start eating some comfort foods or get into binge drinking or whatever it is. So this even more starts impacting the other areas, right? These kind of people often get into more and more destructive habits because they're, overworked, stressed, etc. And what very often happens is that if this is something that happens long term, if it's short term, like obviously things are demanding at work or business, whatever, this is fine. But if this starts taking over and people lack balance, they don't put enough energy and attention on these other areas, what often happens is that these types of people end up with severe health problems. Their wife's gonna leave or start cheating, things like that. I've seen that many times because the guy is never around, he's always busy, always stressed, blah 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 blah. And now all the money that they were chasing goes into paying for doctors, therapists, divorce cases, child support, and many other things that come as a result. And now, because the whole structure is collapsing, their business and their career gets affected as well, right? So what happens is that because the balance was not maintained, it actually impacted the area that they put most effort into or most attention to. I've seen that many times with people around me, with friends, or I used to do the same mistake. For example, I was very much career driven, trying to focus on being busy with things like work, learning language, whatever. And then one day my partner left me because I just got used to it, and I kind of forgot that I need to also find time for that as well. So this mistake is something I see a lot all around me. And of course, it's hard to talk about balance if you are struggling, if you don't have your basic needs met. Of course, it's very difficult to talk about balance in such case because money becomes a priority, right? But we have to remember that sometimes you might have to push in one area and neglect the other areas for a while, but you cannot do it long term, right? Because long term it will bring doom. Sooner or later something's going to get affected and the whole structure typically collapses as a result. So balance. Always try to find time for other areas. Health, relationships, some kind of pleasure, things like that makes you in check, in balance. So you are more kind of balanced, and then the whole structure works better. Relationships, work, you're happier, healthier, etc. So the second thing I would like to talk about today is this false idea of stability in life. Why I think it's a false idea? Because so first of all, this is something that many people strive for, right? I'm just gonna get that perfect job, it's gonna cover all my expenses, and I'm gonna have stability in life, right? This is the illusion that a lot of people believe in. Sometimes it might work, but most of the time it doesn't. Why? So first of all, life is rarely stable. Chaos is actually the natural way how life works and evolves. Challenges are pretty normal, and one way or another challenges keep coming because everything is evolving, and you have all these different forces. So it's very normal to have constant challenges in life. This is just normal, right? As they say, the only constant is change, and we naturally seek comfort, but growth can only happen through challenges, struggle, and effort. This is just normal. So even for those that kind of get stability, let's say, like people think stability will come when they get the right job. What happens is often that they get used to it quickly, and then they kind of like look for something more, or they are unhappy, or they get used to things, and they're kind of like feeling like they're stuck, dead-end job, always the same. Their life becomes the baseline, and then the money is not enough because you always want more. So even when people get what they desired in terms of like the job that, let's say, seems okay, they still become very often unhappy anyway. They're unhappy now because it's just the same. Life is the same. You get a certain level, that's it, and it's boring, and you want more, or you want new things, blah blah. That's what often happens. And then you still have other challenges that keep coming, like some family things or some unexpected things that keep coming. So stability, in a way, it's not really something that can exist properly. It's not something that it's gonna probably exist long term. So another thing I've seen a lot is that sometimes people think that if they're gonna get to some kind of financial goal, then everything's gonna become amazing, beautiful, etc. Rarely this is true. So for example, with people who start working towards some kind of financial goals, very often what happens is that they become less and less happy because of all the stress that comes with it, all the responsibilities. Even if they reach the goals they desired, which often takes very long time, and in that period they get all the stress and other things, very often like the goals keep going higher and higher because you get used to it. Think about society today. Like 50 years ago, no one had smartphones, access to all the movies, all the food from everywhere, all the clothing, all the things that today people take for granted. People had like one pair of shoes and problems to get basic stuff, and they were happier than people today who are on antidepressants, and they have access to anything. Like they have better access to goods than kings a few hundred years ago. You have your fridge, cold food from like different parts of the world, things like that, and people are still unhappy, right? How is that possible? This is the thing. We get used to everything, and we keep comparing ourselves. Oh, this is not enough. Now I desire the next thing because that's gonna make me happier this time, and you get there, you get used to it, etc. So this is often the case. Like if people start thinking, I just need to reach that level, financial level, then I'm gonna get happy, blah blah blah. That rarely works out. So I think instead of believing in this idea of stability, which in most cases probably not gonna happen anyway, one way or the other, or if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be some temporary thing, or you're gonna get used to it, you're gonna get bored, and you're still gonna desire more and more and things like that. Instead of that, what's better is to change the mindset and start understanding that life is just chaos. There are gonna be challenges. The challenges keep coming. Once you understand that, you don't get affected so much by new challenges, right? Because you understand that it's normal and life is gonna be full of challenges, so I can overcome these challenges, with a different mindset. If I was able to overcome some of these things in the past, why would I not be able to overcome some of the new ones, right? Think about these things this way. The more you just treat these things as a game, as a challenge, another one, all right, whatever, the less you get affected, the more you adjust, adapt, and it becomes easier and easier with new things, right? When you have new challenges, because you already have experience and you already know that, again, I need to find a new solution to this problem, right? So I think this is the kind of approach that can work so much better, and also being just flexible, because the world is moving faster and faster, everything is changing quicker and quicker, technology is taking over, social norms are shifting, things like that, and we need to embrace the change, right? And get used to it. That's gonna get like that more and more and more. Once you are becoming more flexible with dealing with all the changes and all the challenges, it becomes easier to deal with new things. It becomes easier to learn new things, to adapt to new situations. So this is the approach that I take, and doesn't mean the challenges do not affect me. Of course they do, but you have more room for big challenges, you know. And also, the more you overcome things and, you know, go through challenges, the easier it is later, right? And you become stronger because you gain experience, and every challenge that we overcame teaches us something and makes us stronger. So let me know what you think about this video in the comments, and have a look at one of my most recent videos. It's called How to Manifest What Your Soul Desires using Higher Self and Soul Alignment Method. So this is a system that I teach that helps to manifest things in life that are aligned with our true nature. Have a look at this video. This is like the summary of some of the tools that I use. And if this resonates, maybe this is something that you would like to use in your life, right? If this resonates and you want to be more aligned, follow your passion, your purpose, and open more synchronicities in life where you get the right things at the right time and things that are aligned with you. If this sounds interesting, I'm actually doing one-to-one coaching where I teach this method, and you know, initial call is free of charge, so nothing to lose. So if you are also interested in that, send me an email. It's coaching@truththeory.com, and check out that previous video. It's really interesting. So thanks for watching this video. Until next time.